Hi everyone, this is Zuaib. In this clip, I want to focus on Agile instructional design development. When you talk about Agile, what does it mean? It basically means that you need the flexibility in order to make sure that you can produce courses or your learning solutions based on the preferred timeline. All organizations, from my perspective, have their own Agile model. There isn't a fixed agile model. It's something that will be created based on the culture and the workflows within your organization. But the goal here is that obviously, despite all the structured waterfall instruction design models, agile basically means that you want to move forward very quickly and you want to reduce the duration of the courses to meet the business needs. You also want to make sure that you can make changes to the learning phase whenever feasible. But in reality, it sounds easy, but it's not possible to just go back in the end and change something. You can if you have all the resources and the time frame, but in most cases, the organizational goals are to complete developments and reduce the cycles. It could be a 9-month cycle, it could a development cycle, or it could be a 6-month development cycle. It could be a 3-month development cycle based on the content and the learning solutions that you're creating. But you will normally see that you do get requests from the management to reduce that time frame as much as possible, which again means that if you have to do that, then you have to come up with an agile model. From my personal experience, what I've seen is that an agile model that worked was when you divide the design of the learning experience from the implementation. So for example, in one situation, we had a 16-week development cycle where 8 weeks were spent just on the design aspect of things, which involved working with the subject matter expert, instruction designers, working on the course plan with the SMEs and the media developers working in conjunction to create storyboards. But anything to do with planning and design was part of that 8-week cycle. And then as soon as the design was complete, the next 8 weeks were spent on implementation of the storyboards, the learning outcomes, the integration of the technologies, and then creating the course content in your learning management system. So this was something that I've seen, and we call that as our agile model because it was an 8-week cycle where we could work on design as much as possible, and then an 8-week cycle where we could implement the learning solution. But that is just one way of doing it. In my case, because this model was very well suited for scalable learning developments, where we had up to 1,000 course developments per year. So we really want something that helps us move forward quickly. So this is one way. But then again, in your organization, when you get a business goal to produce learning solutions as soon as possible, that basically means that you need to come up with an agile model. And what does that mean is that you really have to look into your workflows and resources to define that how quickly can you move from one phase to another. And then if there's, for room for changes, how can you do that? And keeping the stakeholders involved as well at the same time. The thing that you don't want to do is that have a waterfall model where from design to implementation, you have created your learning outcomes, and then at some stage from the implementation, you have to go back to the design and then make changes. It's very much possible, but it's something that we want to avoid in an iterative cycle where you want to follow agile. Otherwise, your agile model will then become very long and lengthy, and you don't want that. So to recap, agile is something that organizations come up with their own methodologies. It's dependent on your roles that you have, like how the information goes from, or the phases goes from the SMEs, the instruction designers, the media developers, the academic technologists, the implementers of the course, and copy editing and QA. So it depends on how information works from one role to another, if you have that many, or if there are people wearing multiple hats to do these things. But your goal should be to reduce that. So for me, 8 weeks design and 8-week implementation, I think, is one agile model that has worked successfully for me. I hope you find this useful. Thank you.